Good afternoon. Wanted to go over a couple of things again today that I touched on some previous videos. Basically, we've added a new status toward the end of the call. Used to be SBQT, which meant Starbucks quote. We've replaced it with QTN, which means quote needed. That way we can use it for all customers. It's not just for Starbucks. So at the end of the call, if your customer needs a quote on something, we put it in the QTN status and we take care of it in the office from there. What I did want to show you is we've also added, and I touched on this the other day, flat rate items. And I'm going to kind of run through a couple scenarios here to show you how that situation is going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a couple scenarios. First one, we're going to select the rooftop unit, and we're going to say that it's got a bad compressor and needs a quote. So we're going to select this piece of equipment. We're going to go to enter readings, which is where we enter our work performed now. Don't forget that. So in the history comments, we're going to do talk to text. Upon arrival, I found compressor not running. Checked windings, found windings grounded. Need to replace compressor. Customer needs a quote. Okay, so it's what we're going to do on that particular unit. So let's also say that we're at a Starbucks for this next theoretical repair. We're performing a PM, and the way, or not Starbucks, let's say it's O'Reilly. O'Reilly gives us an NTE, not to exceed, say it's $230. Now that is just to go out and perform the PM. So if we find additional repairs, like say we find a 40 amp contactor that needs to be replaced, that's not included in a normal PM. So I'm going to show you guys how to deal with that a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this another piece of equipment, and let's just say it's a condensing unit. All right. Again, we're going to go into our readings and we're going to do talk to text. While performing maintenance on this unit, I found this unit needs a new 40 amp double pole 24 volt contactor. Okay. So what we want to, the way we've done it in the past is to be able to get this quote. We've had to call the office and we've had to do a quote, and it's a big long process for no more than what the repair actually is. So I'm trying to make this more efficient for you guys in the field. So what we can do is if we go to the parts portion, and I kind of went through this the other day. When you go to parts, the items is already highlighted. Well, we're not just selling them items, we're selling them the whole service, and they want to know what it's going to cost to do the whole repair. So what we do is we go to flat rate, and we do a lookup. Now, in this email that I'm sending you out, this is associated with it. There is a list of tasks that I have already inserted into this form. So what we can do is, like for an example, if you look at this form and say we're looking for a double pole 40 amp 24 volt contactor, that is the code right there, and it starts with ELB. So what we can do, we're gonna filter out the item number to ELB. And you don't have to do this; it just makes it easier to find. Hit search. Now all the contactor replacements are going to come up. So we're going to do a double pole 40 amp 24 volt contactor. All right. For us to perform that repair, it's $75.60. So you can call into Samantha at O'Reilly's, or even any kind of a PM. You can get with the maintenance person or whatever and say, look, while doing this PM, I found a bad contactor. I can go ahead and replace it. I got one on my truck at $75.60 if you give me the okay. If not, if we have to make additional trips, it's going to be a lot more. So we can add this. Now that price includes the material and the labor to do this. Now the crux of this, and what you have to remember, is you have to have these parts on your van for this to work. That does not include any travel time to the parts and supply houses to get this stuff. It's stuff that you have to have on your van. That's the only way that this works. So what we've done is, so I'm going to go through it again. So we're going to go new, change it to flat rate. And I think it was ELB search, replace 2-pole 40 amp 24 volt contactor. All right, we're going to select it, we're going to hit OK, we hit OK. All right, that added that particular repair to this person's work order. Now, I also know that you guys are going to get into labor-only repairs, such as cleaning a blower wheel or something. It's a little bit above and beyond normal maintenance. So I've got labor repairs in here too, and we're going to go to a flat rate. We're going to select this. We're going to go to MSC for miscellaneous. We're going to do a search. These numbers to the right, that's a code, and that means how many minutes it's going to take. So if you think it's going to take an hour and a half to clean this blower wheel, by the take it apart, clean it, put it back together and start it up, tension the belt, all that stuff, say it's going to take 90 minutes. Well, you can quote your customer, it's going to cost $135 extra for me to do this. And like I said, I'm just trying to make this easier for you guys in the field. That way you don't have to call in and get the approvals and get quotes and things of that nature. Because a lot of times, if you can do it right then and there, you're going to get that okay from that maintenance guy. So that's how we can add some of these flat rate charges. When we go to checkout, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go through the labor just so everybody does it again, because we're only going to do your timesheets for a very, very short amount of time. We have bill hours, work hours, regular and regular. If you're working overtime, all you have to do is change it. All right, but right now everything's going to be regular. We don't worry about the start and stop time. The only thing we're doing is putting in how many hours we're going to bill the customer. That's it. That is your timesheet for that particular job. That's all we have to learn. All right. Now, if you remember, this is going to require a quote for that new compressor. One place that we can put, if you guys don't want to do the quote request forms anymore, this is where we used to put our work performed. We don't do that anymore. Anything that we put on here stays in-house no matter what. So we can go to the service comments, which used to go to the customer. They do not go to the customer anymore. So we can say, for this compressor replacement, it's going to take 2 guys, 10 hours each. We're going to need a torch charge, filter dryers. It's going to take a crane. The unit is 45 feet from the edge of the building, 35 feet up. The crane can park 20 feet from the building and has unlimited parking. That's basically what we need to know to quote that compressor replacement. This all stays in-house now. All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish this out. But since there is a quote needed and this ticket really isn't done, if you look at this status, we've got our complete, continue, and now there's QTN. That means quote needed. All right. Other than that, everything else is going to stay the same. We're going to go to depart. There's our new form. We're going to sign it. And if you look, it just tells us the 2 units that we worked on and what we did. Everything that we keyed in there or entered about what it was going to take to replace that compressor, it does not show up on this service order anymore like it used to. So remember, if we hit depart, nobody gets an email. If we hit depart and email, whoever is in this line right here gets this email. So if you guys got any questions, feel free to call. I'm sure you will. But do the best you can with it. And remember, I put this sheet in this email as an attachment for your quick reference. So appreciate your cooperation. And I know this is a lot of information, but once everybody gets used to it, it's going to make us a lot better. Thanks, guys.